You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
You can't. You can't handle the truth. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. Haven't seen you guys in a couple of weeks. I was off last week. Unexpectedly. But anyway, everybody, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. It's the R.Kelly Talk Radio program. I was spit all over the microphone. It's the R.Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the R.KellyShow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn. Let me get comfortable here in YouTube. See what I got on here. See what the shirt says. See what that says. It says wisdom. Wisdom. More important than knowledge. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you so much. It's a couple minutes after 7 o'clock. And improbably the Knicks. I know you Knicks fans out there are like flipping because the Knicks are up 2-0. Who would have thought that the Knicks would be up 2-0 in the playoffs? And who would have thought that the Knicks would have beat the Celtics at home twice back to back and do the same thing, come back from a large, huge deficit to win the game? Anyway, so shout out to the Knicks fans. You know, I still don't know if it's in the bag yet, but we'll see. We will see. Anyway, everybody, it's just a couple minutes past the hour. And they got a new pope for you Catholics out there, you religious folks. They got a new pope. You know, but the pope they picked the pope that's 69 years old. You know, but the pope is already, see, and another, hopefully the Pope will live a long time, but the Pope is only 69 years old. Why can't they pick a Pope that's like 50? Somewhere around there, a Pope that's going to last a long time. Now, I'm not saying that this new Pope, who is from America, by the way, the first American Pope, what did Trump have to do with that? Anyway, yes, the first American Pope ever chosen. All the other popes were from other countries. The popes that back in Pope history. So anyway, so there's a new Pope, 69 years old. But I'm thinking, like, why can't they just pick a young Pope? No. See, because Pope is 69 years old. I mean, so how many years do you expect him to be Pope? Not that I'm counting the years for the fella, but how many years? Anyway, they should pick a younger Pope. I think they should pick a young Pope. This Pope is 69 years old. How long does anybody think he's going to last? At another 10, 20 years, they'll be right back here. The papal conclave, they'll be right back, all sequestered like a jury. No newspaper, no phone, no internet, no nothing. And that's what the cardinals had to do in order to pick the new pope. So congratulations, all you Catholics out there, people who follow religion and whatever, the religious folks, and you got a new pope. But again, they should have picked a younger pope, I think. It's just way he lasts longer. I mean, pick a pope that's like maybe in his 50s, They picked a pope his next birthday will be 70, and they'll be right back again trying to figure out who the next pope's going to be. But anyway, congratulations to all you Catholics out there. You got a new pope, an American pope, by the way, pope from Chicago. Picture that. Anyway, everybody, it's about 5 minutes past the hour. So, got a lot to talk about tonight. Lots to talk about. A little under the weather, feeling a little under the weather. But, I was off last week, so, I had to come back this week. Anyway, everybody, it's just a couple of minutes past the hour. 5 minutes past, as a matter of fact. So, and the R.Kelly Show is sponsored in part by American Port of Fuel Transportation, Plainfield, New Jersey. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the break. But, okay, so I was looking for Councilman, Fifth Ward Councilman Louis Velez from Patterson. I was looking for him. He's kind of like incognito. I don't know what happened. He kind of disappeared. Haven't heard from him in a while. Did reach out to him to see if he's going to come on the program. I haven't heard anything from him. Maybe his lawyer told him to shut up. I don't know, but I'll keep trying. We'll see if we can get him on. I promise you, I will keep trying, and we shall see if I can get him on the program. We'll try, because I know a lot of y'all wanted to hear to see what Councilman Velez had to say about what happened at that crazy council meeting in the city of Patterson, New Jersey, just a couple weeks back. And I did have a conversation with him, and we didn't set a date, but we did agree that he would come on the program. I haven't heard from him so far. So I don't know if his people from his lawyer or whatever, if he has one, or if he felt the need to get one. I don't know if his lawyer or whatever told him that he needed a lawyer. Anyway, shout out to Arnetta Marshall I think she's from Maryland, somewhere down there. Good evening. Welcome to the R.Kelly Talk Radio program, Arnetta. Okay, so yes. Tyre Nichols ran down and pulverized by Memphis Police Department. Black cops. Tyre Nichols beaten to death by 5 black officers. Memphis Police Department. And see, before I even get into that, you can't, they do, you got to do the psych test. I've been in the police academy. I know what they do, the psych test and this and that and the other. But you can't tell who's a psycho. You can't tell who's a psycho, and you can't tell who's a racist from the tests, because they do have a psych test. And you don't know who's crazy. You don't know who's a bully, who has issues. You don't know. So what happens a lot of times is they beat the psych test, they come on the police force, and then they wreak havoc in the community, which is what these 5 cops did. So yesterday, 3 of the cops, 3 of them, the 3 that decided that they were going, to go to trial, because the 2 of them pled guilty. 2 of the cops pled guilty. Let me get going here. Okay, so Tyre Nichols is a 29-year-old black man, born and raised in Sacramento, killed in 2023 by 3 black cops, or 5 black cops. Now, 2 of those cops pled guilty, and because they knew they were going to be found guilty anyway. And 3 of the Okay, you might be able to hear me now, Arnetta. If you can, please let me know. Because I don't know if you guys can hear me. Uh, I know on LinkedIn. Let me see. See, I hate this kind of stuff. See, this is the problem, when you're doing, this kind of radio. Okay, because I can't hear myself on LinkedIn, and I probably can't hear myself on Facebook either. Let me see. Uh, oh, okay. Yes, okay. I think that I can be heard now. I'm not sure. Arnetta Marshall, if I can be heard, let me know. Oh, okay. All right, cool. This is so disgusting. You know what I'm saying? I hate this crap. I interrupted my program. Now I got to take a break because I'm all discombobulated. But you know what? I'll take a quick break and I'll come back with more of this program. It's the R.Kelly Talk Radio Show, and it's on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and blogtalkradio.com. Alrighty, then we are back, everybody. It's the R.Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on Facebook, and it's all live. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, it's on LinkedIn, and of course, it's on blogtalkradio.com. The archives are everywhere. Each one of those websites, there are shows from the past. So if I'm not on one week and you get lonely, you can just, if I'm not on, you get lonely, hey, you can go to any one of those websites, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, blogtalkradio.com, and you can listen to the R.Kelly Show in case, I'll show up one week or whatever. Anyway, it's about 15 minutes past the hour. It's the R.Kelly Talk Radio program. And so I didn't know that, and we're a little bit later on in the program, we'll talk about why Black folks should support Black businesses no matter what. I got an issue with that. So I'll tell you what I think on the other side. But anyway, it's about 17 minutes past the hour. So, see, this is the problem. Unity in the community. See, there's no community unless there's some type of unity. And in the Black community, there just ain't enough. I'm not going to say that there's none at all, but there's just not enough. There's not enough unity. People that may get killed, you can just go down the line, go down the list of Black folks who get killed by the police. You can go down the line. And what happens? What happens? We get mad for a minute and then we go back to what we was doing. Trying to keep up with each other, buying cars we can't afford, living places that we can't afford. And it goes away. So, I mean, we can't continue to George Floyd, and when we had a chance to make some real progress, we fumble the football. Because George Floyd gave Black America an opportunity to really do something special because we had the companies, we had the backing, we had money. And what happens? The chick that's running the thing buys a house. I mean, just fumble football. You don't even hear about Black Lives Matter anymore. And see, yeah, it's the police's fault. Tyre Nichols should not have been beat to death. But see, when you get an opportunity to do something and you don't do it, then that's on you. And this is what's happening. Black America has had opportunities. We call Reverend Al to speak at the funeral, and I have nothing against Reverend Al. I have a great deal of respect for him, but that's not enough. That's not enough. Rallies and marches. We've been rallying and marching for decades. And what has it got us? What has it got us? And now Trump is actually removing slave-related treasures from the American Museum of Black History. The African American Museum in D.C. that just opened several years back. So everything that has anything to do with slavery, things, artifacts that people have donated to be displayed at the museum are being removed. Trump is, because they're trying to wipe the slate clean. They're trying to make it seem like, and I know I went off from what I was talking about, everybody. I do that every now and then. I guess I'm getting old. And this is what happens. Now, Trump is removing stuff. He's, trying to wipe slate clean to make it seem like there was never any slavery. And he actually believes that he can do it, that he can make it so it'll appear that there was never any slavery, which is unbelievable. But this is what he tried to do: turn the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Oh boy, let me just hit myself in the head with the microphone. But yeah. Oh, and I meant to, the R.Kelly Show was sponsored in part by Amica and Porterfield Transportation, Amica and Porterfield, for 45 years. Now, can you imagine that? 45 years. Anybody that does anything for 45 years, they're probably doing it right. And Amica and Porterfield Transportation has been in business since 1980, when I was like 5, I think. Yeah, Amica and Porterfield has been in business that long, and Amica and Porterfield is your source for your transportation needs. If you casino trips, field trips, school district, medical, if you got a single child that has to be taken that you're unable to take to school every day, Amica and Porterfield can handle it. Give them a call, 908-753-6423, 908-753-6423. Call my friends at Amica and Porterfield Transportation, who partially sponsors the R.Kelly Show. Okay, so Arnetta Marshall says it's not just Black people getting killed by the police. Black people are killing Black people because they have no respect for each other anymore. And that's very, very spot on and true, Arnetta Marshall. So what is your suggestion that is going to help us get our voice right? Well, see, there's no unity in the Black community. There's no unity amongst Black people. And I'm sick and tired of Willie Lynch syndrome and hearing about, what's some slavery. Slavery was hundreds of years ago. So you mean to tell me we still can't get it together after all of this time? I mean, come on now. It doesn't make any sense. If you know what the solution is, then you apply it. You see, Black folks are too busy kicking each other's backs in, and unfortunately, I do carry a weapon. And then when I go in certain areas, when I'm around white people, I don't worry about white people. When I'm going into white areas, I don't carry a gun. But you better believe it, when I go into Black areas, I do carry a firearm. And I know that all Black neighborhoods are not dangerous. I know there are some Black neighborhoods we're broadcasting from New Jersey, so I know the East Orange, or even Irvington, Newark, some of the places that are the armpits of New Jersey. Some of these places do have very nice areas. But you see, here's the thing. When they name a street after Dr. Martin Luther King, the great never could be. Somebody said that Reverend Al Sharpton was the greatest civil rights leader. No, not at all. Not even close to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So when you notice when they name streets after Dr. Martin Luther King, they're usually like all kinds of crap going on, people doing donuts in an intersection, drugs, gangs, all kinds of stuff. And see, and that's it. So when white folks see Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, they just make a back turn because that's code for this is not a good area. Because I grew up in Jersey City, and Kennedy Boulevard stretches from Bayonne. For those of you who are familiar with this area, I know we're broadcasting in other areas of the country, so you probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But John F. Kennedy Boulevard stretches from Bayonne all the way to Guttenberg somewhere. It goes through about 8 towns. Nice road, smooth, nice. But when you get to the Dr. Martin Luther King is like Escape from New York. You know what I'm saying? And most of the Dr. Martin Luther King, the streets that are named after Dr. Martin Luther King are not good streets. That's code for the white folks. So if white folks are going somewhere and they're not sure where they at, like if they just built the Prudential Center in Newark and the New Jersey Devils play there now. Ain't no black people watching no hockey. So when they have a game there, it's mostly white folks. So when they see Dr. Martin Luther King, turn around. We're in a bad area. Don't go there. And see, these deaths, just senseless deaths. One brother in the Midwest is in a wheelchair, shot in the back because the lady, she said taser, 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 and then shot her. And then this other chick, Botham Jean, in his house eating ice cream in his easy chair. She comes through the door. Dallas police officer kills him because she thought she was in a different, she thought she was in a different house. She thought she was in her house. Now she's got a dog. So you don't hear your dog at the door, scratching at the door. Come on, you're supposed to be a damn police officer. You should notice these things. So she gets to the door. She opens the door. Amber Geiger. That was her name. Amber Geiger was the police officer who shot Botham Jean in his house, not minding his business. And how did she even get in his house? Unless he must have forgot to lock his door or something, because her key shouldn't have worked in his house. So, and these things happen, and we don't, Jews would be going crazy because you can't mess with the Jews. When you mess with the Jews, they come out in bucketfuls. They'd be hundreds of thousands of Jews shutting areas down when you mess with them. And they don't just have it like that. They got it like that because they use, their economic resources. They don't just have it like that. All of these old wives' tales about people coming here and getting a stipend, and none of that stuff is true. None of that stuff is true. There's no ethnic group that comes here and gets $25,000. We got to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe amongst our own community. Nobody comes here and gets a stipend. Nobody. You come and you do what you got to do. But we got to stop believing this stuff. Nobody comes here and gets money to get started on their way. Nobody. I don't know why y'all even believe that stuff. You be passing this nonsense around. and everybody's believing it. Nobody comes here and gets a stipend. Now, and on that, Marshall, you're right. Crabs trying to please you down. Yeah. So, and it's ridiculous. And I'm sick and tired of this Willie Lynch nonsense. That can't still be in existence 300 years later. There's no way. It's just an excuse. It's just a weak ass excuse for black folks. Okay, so what is my suggestion? That's going to help us get further. See, but we got to be together. See, that boycott that they didn't bother Target. Did they close any stores? No. Amazon. Did Amazon get smaller? Did the stock price go down? No. See, because you can't have a movement without all the people, or at least most of the people. Because you look at the African American parades, there's a handful of people. Even in New York, they don't even have, they just have a gathering. Because there's no people, because black folks don't care about each other. They don't care. It's sad. Black folks don't care about each other. And we don't have the courage. It's every man for himself in the black community. Every man for himself. You can see how black folks carjack other black folks. You stand at the bus stop, wait for the bus to come, and these three clowns pull up next to you and with these guns and stuff, take you a little bit of what you got, your phone, riding by on scooters. Black folks don't care about each other, and that's the problem. We got, they be a little gathering like Reverend Al, you hear him on WBLS in New York, and you hear him preaching or whatever he does, and he's got a room full of people, but that is not enough. That's not enough. We need, like I said, Black Lives Matter. When the last time you heard anything about Black Lives Matter? It's probably been years. Because the chick blew that, took the money, bought a house, and the media jumped all over that. See, look at them niggers, because they had corporate backing and companies were chipping in money to help the situation. What did we do? Nothing. Now along comes Trump. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is gone. The biggest companies in the world, Walmart and some of these other companies are dropping their DEI programs. And, and executive order after executive order, Trump is trying to wipe the slate clean as if there was no slavery. See, because white folks are embarrassed. White folks are embarrassed. Trump is embarrassed. Because you can't go around the world preaching freedom after what you did to black folks. See, that's what the United States of America does, try to tell people, when they negotiate with China, well, you got to treat your people better. Okay, America, how about you treat your people better? How about that? It's ridiculous. So, I mean, Arnetta Marshall says, it's sad that I have forefathers that fought so hard, she's probably meant to say, so that we can have the right to vote, have the right to go to school, have the right to walk down the street, had the right to use the bathroom with everybody else, and we're throwing it away. Yeah, exactly. Throwing it away. Throwing it away. Jealousy, envy, and the men are no example. The men, the jealousy. Oh, you got a better car than mine. Oh, you got a better job. Oh, you got a bigger butt. Oh, you got a bigger boot. You cuter. All this insignificant nonsense that black folks are jealous of each other about. Insignificant nonsense. So we get a, and I've seen this, I've witnessed this when I've attended certain meetings, gathering information, but because I'm a journalist after all. But and it's, okay, we have a cause. We have a cause we need to address. And what happens? We have a cause we need to address. What happens? We know we got a cause. We've gathered ourselves together, and now we're going to fight on who's the leader. I want this one. No, I want this one because I'm friends with this one. I'm friends. And the cause never gets addressed. People just walk out. And I've seen it. I've attended many community meetings while I was trying to build up my radio program. I've attended many community meetings where the meeting ended because they couldn't agree on who was going to be in charge. Black folks couldn't agree on who was going to be in charge. So you see, honestly speaking, do I see any hope for the black folks? No. I know I look like I'm freezing here, but do I see any hope for black folks being down with each other? No. I'll tell you, no. I have no hope that black folks are going to get it together. None. I know some of y'all might be like, R.Kelly said I said it. I have no hope at all that black folks are ever going to get it together because we have the economic power. We don't apply it the right way. Look at all the millionaires in the NBA and NFL. Look at how much trillions of dollars probably amongst those players. Get a contract $200 million. Now, I did hear, and every now and then, I know LeBron has done a lot. Jaylen Brown allegedly is devoting his $50 million sneaker deal to a nonprofit, from what I understand. I don't know if that's true or not. You see, if there's different ways to do stuff. There's different ways to do things. Yeah, and I understand. Yeah, my phone was ringing. Yeah, and I don't know why. Everybody knows me know I'm on the radio right now. But yeah, it's sad. Black folks just can't get it together. But you know what? I have to admit something. I'll admit it. Okay. I mean, I may not be the biggest part of the problem, part of the solution either. And, when I come back, I'm going to talk about black businesses and why should you support a business because it's black owned? Why should you? Why should you support? Because people talk about, support black businesses, support black businesses. Okay, well, why should I? Why should I? Just because the people are black, I should support them? The tribalism should come into play? No. Well, I'll talk about that on this segment when I come back from the break. Anyway, we'll take a break. It's about 23 minutes before the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. And it's on blogtalkradio.com, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all over the social media spectrum. It is the Ron Kelly Show. righty then. We're back, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all over the social media spectrum. And folks are sniffing around the Ron Kelly Show. Might be moving on to bigger and better things. I don't want to say anything right now, but I'll let you know for sure what's cooking with the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. It's 20 minutes approximately before the hour of 8 o'clock. Yeah, the Knicks, 2 in a row over the Celtics, the last year's champion. Who would have thought? The Knicks. Wow, unbelievable. Because I know you Knicks fans out there, I know you Knicks fans are talking crap right now, and you deservedly so, because the Knicks, who haven't won the championship since I was like 1 or 2 years old, and now here they come. There might be a chance for them to win again, so we'll see. The Saturday, I believe it is 3:30. Saturday 3:30. We'll be back. The Knicks will be back in the Garden. And, you expect maybe they can close it out, but I don't doubt they're going to sweep the Celtics. But, hey, who knows? Everybody doubted that they would win 2 games on the road, and they did. So shout out to the Knicks fans, but don't get too excited yet. Now, it's not over yet. There's still 5 games to play, so knock it off. All right, everybody, 19 minutes before the hour. So, I wanted to ask a question about black folks. People, what should we support black businesses just because they're black? Should we support black candidates, political candidates, just because they're black? Should we? And, because this is what people like. This is what I've been hearing for years. Support your black business, support your black business. And, in any urban area, Newark, for example, you see, storefront after storefront closed because the person, whoever was started the business, did not do what they needed to do. You see, because we black folks hustle, See, white folks, when they build a business is going to be still there after they're dead. But we don't do that across the board. There are some that do. Now, I don't say that to say that no black folks build generational wealth, but most don't. And black folks hustle. You see in the urban areas, especially, you see like Mother's Day, for example. Now, Mother's Day, you're going to see black folks hustling, selling these baskets with nothing in them, last minute Mother's Day gift, because whoever the cats or dudes or people was too busy to get mother something nice. So they're you're gonna see the U-Haul truck loaded with Mother's Day stuff. You're gonna see them selling them on the corner. Which I would never buy that stuff for my mother, who's no longer here. God bless her. I know she's up there in heaven saying, "Yes, right, son." Anyway, so yeah, because we get hustling. Valentine's Day, what do you see? You see a U-Haul or a Ryder or whatever truck filled with Valentine's Day, cheap Valentine's Day gifts, that the people, either they didn't care or they don't care to get something decent for that person. So they just grab one of those cheap Valentine's Day gifts. Easter, same thing. So you see that stuff. You see black folks hustling, but not running businesses. And and I'm tired of barbershops and hairdo and some restaurants, some, not many. Why can't we get into other stuff? Why does it always have to be service? Get your hair done, get your hair cut, have a meal. Why can't we get into other businesses? So, and I'm going to tell you, when I need something serious done, I don't. You see, the difference between black folks. See, a lot of black folks just don't have a good business. They don't run their business properly. They don't have the proper insurance. They don't, like we see the mechanic shop, like there's no way I'm bringing my car in there. No. No. If I see a black business and they don't have their ish together, I'm not bringing my car in there. No. Not because I got a Range Rover, but I'm just not going to bring it in there because there's a lot of us, whether we wanted to admit it or not, there's a lot of us that will not support black businesses. There's a lot of us that won't, whether you want to admit it or not. I know you probably don't want to admit it, like thinking that your folks is going to be mad at you or whatever. But there's a lot of us that don't go to black businesses when they got serious stuff going on. You know, because I don't, you know, like I know people who do carpentry work. I would never recommend them to somebody. Never. No. And if I'm sorry if you're listening, that's how I feel. I would never, you know, because I don't want to be responsible if they don't do the right thing, and then the person going to come hollering at me like, you told me to mess with them, and now they done jerk me around. See, that's why I don't do that. You know, and admittedly, when I got something serious going on, I don't take my car to a black business. You see, because you know, your business, it's not just about what you do. It's about the how you project yourself. You know, it's about how you project yourself. You got to have a, you know, when I walk into a business, I want it to be clean, organized, you know, because if I walk into a business and there's papers all over the place, and you know, I know because you're not organized. If people are arguing or whatever, no, you know, I walk right back out. And see, a lot of us don't, you know, and I'll tell you, there's more often than not, there's probably 6 black folks out of 10 that will not take their vehicle to a black shop. Now, we trust them to cut our hair, trust them to do our hair, trust them to feed us, but that's about it. That's about it. Anything else? No. And a lot of us won't take our when we got something serious going on, a lot of us won't, because, you know, it's not about what you do. It's not about what you do. It's about, do you have the infrastructure in place? Do you have insurance? Do you have a policy of, you know, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, like with a car, for example? Do you have 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Do you have the guarantee that if something goes wrong, you can take the car back? See, because if you take your car someplace, and this is not the car show, but if you take your vehicle someplace and you don't have a receipt, which most black businesses don't give you, if you don't have a receipt, you know, then if you bring your car back, and then they're going to fix it when they feel like it, or they may not fix it at all. And this is what happened. I know a lot of people this has happened to, where they took their car somewhere and the people didn't guarantee the repair, and it didn't work out. And so either they may not even fix it. They might say, I ain't doing nothing. You know, or they fix it when they feel like it. So by the time that you get your car back, you could have bought another one. Yeah. So I don't think that, you know, I don't think that, depending on what it is, I don't think that, you know, that we should support black businesses just because they're black. No, because you want to get a good deal, you want to get a good price, you want the service to be good. And if the black businesses that you are supporting, if they got their ish together, then yeah, you go to the black business. But I'm not going to you just because you're black. I'm going to you because you have a good business. That's why I'm going back to you. And satisfied customers. I don't care if you black. Most of the time, I got something going on, I take my car to the white man. Most of the time. I took my car somewhere recently, and and the check engine light came on. I'm like, wait a minute, check engine light wasn't on. I took it back. They found out what the problem was. They fixed it, and I haven't had a problem since. That was a few months ago. See, some businesses you go back to and they be like, man, look, I don't know what to tell you. So if I'm going to support a black business, I'm going to support the business because it's a good business, not just because it's black. At 10 minutes before the hour. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we got to get it together. We gotta get it together. We can't go on like this. It's ridiculous. Because we're never gonna, as this world, moves forward, we're gonna be more and more to the back, more and more backstage than on the front. Because the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, that just wasn't for gay people. That was for black people too. Why do we need it? Because of, Tim Scott, the biggest Tom, they should call him Tom Scott, Senator Tim Scott, the biggest Tom in America, who said America is not a racist country. I mean, how can you look at yourself in the mirror? I mean, I know it's probably hard for him to look himself in the mirror anyway, with that overbite. But it's got to be, why do we even need diversity, equity, and inclusion? Because gay people and black people are still getting, racism is still prevalent in the community. So there's a couple of people, black folks who are running for, black folks that are running for different offices, and I'm not voting for you because you're black. Now, if you have a good platform and you've got a good reputation and you talking like my kind of language, okay, but I'm not voting for you because you're black. We have several black candidates in this area, Kenyatta Stewart and some of the other folks who are black, who are running. And see, a lot of those people, black candidates will bank on that. Vote for me because I'm black. When's the last time Newark had a black mayor? Since Adonisio, who went to prison, I think, for corruption. Hugh Adonisio, I think, was the last white mayor of the city of Newark. Since then, it's been all black. Yes, Sharp James, Cory Booker, Sharp James, Cory Booker. Well, first it was Ken Gibson, Sharp James, Cory Booker. Now it's Ras Baraka. So Newark hasn't had a black mayor, had a white mayor in years. And a lot of these places, Atlanta and some of the black enclaves. But what did you get? Now Newark is, starting to come alive a little bit. I see that they're building stuff where me personally thought nobody would ever build anything in some of those areas, but they are. If I can get Ras Baraka on here, we can talk about that. But yeah. So, we got to have some real unity. I don't know if we'll ever be able to put down I don't know if we'll ever be able to put down the hatred we have for each other, the jealousy, the envy, the keeping up with the Joneses. I don't know if we'll ever be able to overcome that. I don't believe so, but you never know. But I don't believe that we'll ever overcome that. The black folks will always be jealous of each other and envious and, like Arnetta Marshall's crabs in the bucket syndrome. Somebody sent me a message over YouTube. I got, okay, I'll respond back to you. Got some listeners on YouTube. What y'all doing on YouTube? Anyway, yeah, I'm over. What am I doing on YouTube? But I am over there. So, yeah, I'll respond to you at the end of the program. So, shout out to Lamar Gates, who says there's an MLK in Charlotte, North Carolina, Quiet Road. And yeah, and you're right, Lamar Gates. I don't say that every Martin Luther King drive is infested with drugs and crime. No, I don't say that, but a lot of them are. When I lived in Jersey City, for example, Jersey City, New Jersey, I grew up there, and Jackson Avenue was like the worst. Jackson Avenue in Jersey City at the time was like the worst street in New Jersey. Jackson Avenue, all kinds of stuff, shootings and drugs and, forget about walking up that street. You wasn't going to do it. Jackson Avenue. It's for my folks who are ex-Jersey Cityites before the transition happened. And yeah, it was the worst street ever. And it's named after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, and I agree with you, Lamar Gates. I know that not every town, not every street is named after Dr. Martin Luther King is a bad one, but most of them are. And if you look around, especially in this area, northern New Jersey, New York metropolitan area, where the R.Kelly Show is being broadcast from, when you see Martin Luther King Drive, you're like, whoa. Some of us don't want to go on there. But as far as unity and community, I don't think Black folks will ever come together. I really don't. I mean, y'all can kick me, trash me on Facebook or whatever, or LinkedIn, however you listen to the program, but I just don't think so. Jesus Christ himself would have to come down here. They have to have the 4 horsemen appear in the sky, and Jesus would have to come down here, and they still probably wouldn't do it. Say, all right, all you Black people better come together. If Jesus Christ told us, we probably still wouldn't do it. 3 minutes before the hour. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. But to close, I mean, I'm not going to support a business just because it's Black. I'm not doing that. I'm supporting the business because it's good. I'm not supporting the business because it's Black. And Black folks who need to start conducting business to stop hustling for now. White folks make businesses; those businesses last for years, long after the person is dead. The business is still there because the business was built on a good foundation, and that's something that Black folks have to do. Even if you're selling chicken, even if you cutting hair, whatever the case may be. I mean, hopefully we'll expand a little bit and stop doing that so much. But you got to stop hustling and start building generational wealth. Build your business. Don't just have a business, because you're not supposed to. If you got a business, you're not supposed to be paying your bills off your business. You're not supposed to be paying your bills off your business. So if you're in business to pay bills, that's not a business. It's not a business. If your primary purpose for your business is paying bills, you're hustling. That's not a business. So Black folks got to get out of the mind of hustling and start doing some real building the business, build a good foundation for the business, get a good reputation, Black or white people, green, purple, aliens, whatever. You want to have a good reputation with your business, regardless of whether it's Black or, and white folks, that's why a lot of us will go to white folks when we have a problem. Because a lot of those businesses have foundations, they have reputations, they offer you a service and they back their service. See, that's what Black folks need to do. Yeah, I'm not saying that none of us do it, but they need to start doing it. Anyway, it's about 45 seconds before the hour, so it's time for me to, do I want to have a cigar? Maybe. All right. So I'll see you guys back here next week for another edition of R.Kelly Show. So you can hit me up during the week, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever the R.Kelly Show airs. And so we'll see you back here next week. And I like to say that it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And that we may not have it all together, but together, we can certainly have it all. Thank you so much. I think I'm out of here.